utterly failed at, I would have lost everything. I have wasted years and years and years. Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Marcus Hayes, and what I want to talk to you about today is something that I have utterly failed at over the years whenever I've tried to get myself back on track and move forward with my life. And it's something that all the successful people talk about in the videos that I watch on self-improvement and that sort of thing. And I'd go as far to say that if you get this right, it's actually more important than how hard you work at something. I'm of course talking about momentum and consistency. Now literally for years and years and years now, I've been in this loop where I'm being super positive, doing all the right things, moving forward. If people were to see what I was doing, they would think, wow, that guy's, really making moves, just being the best human that I can possibly be. But then eventually I end up falling off the wagon and I'm back to square one again. So I've literally just been in this loop for years now where I get to a certain level and then I'm back to square one again. And this is despite the fact that, I've built up all this knowledge about, self-improvement and stuff, In fact, it kind of hindered me in a way because I always knew that I could get myself back on track, which kind of gives you an excuse to back off and get complacent. You see, whenever my mind will be telling me, you deserve a break, go and get on the sesh, it's telling you you're only going to lose a day, you know what I mean? When in reality, I go and get on drugs, then I'm not just going to lose that day because I'm going to lose the next week while I'm, on a come down and recovering. And then, it might take me another week to sort of get to the level where I was at in terms of my productivity with whatever I've got to do day to day. So, that one sort of evening of silliness ends up losing me a week or 2 weeks. Another way to look at it, just say you're running a business and, you're on an upward trajectory and, you sort of back off for a little bit or, you stop and idle, you might end up missing opportunities and then you essentially end up going downwards, because I believe that with whatever you're doing in life, you're either progressing or regressing. What I've been basically doing for the last few years is like this. In your mind, you might think you're sort of going like this and then like that and then like that. It's not the case, because if you was to keep going, you'll be so, over the years, I would have been so far further ahead with everything that's positive in my life than I am now, because of all these basic, periods where I've fell off the wagon. And I think that when you're trying to create habits in your life that are going to benefit you, which is, literally what I'm trying to do and what I did every time I fell off the wagon and tried to get back on track. When you're trying to create habits, it's not about how much effort you put in for that one time or, a few times or, that temporary period of time. It's about what you can do consistently. The problem with me is that I've always been an all or nothing kind of guy. So, I'm sort of hardwired to, go balls to the wall at whatever I'm trying to do, and then either I get fed up or bored and then just slack off. So yeah, that's why my life sort of goes like this. But this time I'm purposely focusing on momentum and consistency. And in a way, I'm purposely half-arsing everything. My daily routine right now, exercise, meditation, journaling, cold showers, there's a lot of things that I'm doing every day, and I'm purposely doing a lot less than I probably could, because I know that if I go balls to the wall every single day, I'll end up getting fed up, and one or two of those things will end up getting neglected, and before you know it, I'm on a downward trajectory and I want to keep going on an upward trajectory. I'd rather be going on a slower slope upwards, than doing this all the time. And a real big problem with, living a life like this, especially if your mind's not seeing it like that, the way my mind will trick me into it is, you're on an upward trajectory, but you're just having a break and then you're carrying on. But it's not like that. You are literally either going up or you're going down. And that's the way that I look at things now. And the problem is that when you're on your way down, you might not realize it at first. So by the time you realize you're on a downward trajectory with whatever you're doing, it's too late. So that's another reason why you're better off making sure, actively, purposefully making sure you're on an upward trajectory, even if it's a slow upward trajectory, because you don't want to be in the situation where you've been on a downward spiral for so long before you actually realize that it's happening. And then, by then you're having to start again. And going on a slower trajectory upwards, can sort of help you not go through burnout. That's another bad thing about people that go balls to the wall. Eventually you'll burn out. There's only so much you can do before you need to rest. So if you're going on a slower, more manageable upward trajectory, you won't have to worry about burnout. So a couple of examples in my daily routine that I've just briefly mentioned. I've now decided to start meditating again every day. There's been periods in my past where I've done meditation for, a week or 2 weeks or whatever, and it's really helped me. And then you just find that you haven't got time, or, I sort of find that 20 minutes meditation is perfect. It gives you enough time to actually get into a really present state compared to, say, doing a 5 or a 10-minute meditation. But then I sort of get it in my brain that the next day, if I'm not going to do a 20-minute meditation, then it's not worth doing at all. That's just the way my brain works. It persuades me that it's not worth doing unless you're going to do the same or more than you did before. Same with when I used to run around the block every morning. I'd get to the stage where my little route that I used to run around, the same route that I walk around now every morning, at first I'd have to stop a few times. But then if I get round in one go, I'd wake up the next day and if my legs were tired or generally I was tired, and I couldn't see myself getting round in one go, I sort of saw it as not worth doing. So then I wouldn't run that day, then the next day you wouldn't run, and over time you just end up giving up running. And that's kind of why nowadays I walk around the block every morning. Although there is a couple of other reasons that benefit you by walking around the block every morning that I'm actually going to go into detail about in probably the next video, when I actually describe what my routine is nowadays that keeps me on track. But yeah, my walk around the block in the morning isn't my exercise. It's for other reasons, although it is, good exercise as well. So yeah, with the meditation now, I'm purposefully only doing 10 minutes a day. Sometimes I sort of feel like, I want to do 20 minutes because I know that 20 minutes will allow me to get into a more present state. But I'm forcing myself to only do 10 minutes a day at the moment because I want to consistently do 10 minutes a day. And as time goes on, hopefully it will get to the point where I'm like gagging to do 20 minutes a day, and then it will be easier for me to do 20 minutes a day. With the walking around the block, as I just mentioned, now and again I will run around the block, to be honest, but I'm going to the gym and I run a mile on the treadmill every time I go to the gym, so it's not, that's just like a bonus. But every morning I'll walk around the block. With the exercises I do at home, when I get back from my walk, I strictly only do 3 exercises and 2 sets. Again, I go to the gym quite a few times a week, so I don't see my exercise at home as my main working out. It's just, me getting into a habit of doing those 3 exercises, 2 sets of each, every single morning. And I've started taking cold showers for the first time during this, period of me trying to get back on track. And I'm purposefully only doing 2 minutes in a cold shower, and I'm not even having it fully on cold. I'll get in there when it's cold, and then just gradually turn it up. And I set my timer on my phone for 2 minutes. And even if I feel like I can take more than that, and the more you do something that's good for you, the better, I strictly get out after 2 minutes, because I want to get into a habit of being able to do 2 minutes every day, because all these things are difficult. It is difficult to persuade myself to walk around the block every day, exercise at home every day, write in my journal every day, meditate every day, get in the cold shower every day, but then once I sort of start getting going with these things, I get into it, and then I sort of want to extend it. I want to be Superman again, but I'm strictly not allowing myself to do that, because I want to focus on momentum and consistency rather than how much effort I'm putting in. Another thing to think about, because, if you're someone that's trying to progress in your life, in whatever you're doing, you do want to actively add more things, or, progress, get more done, and that can kind of give you an excuse to not be consistent with certain things that work for you. So One example of that is, I spend a lot of time on YouTube watching videos, a lot of self-help videos and stuff. But I found that sometimes, I'd get back from my walk or whatever, and I'd be scrolling, through my phone, watching all these self-help videos and not getting on with other work that I need to do. And also, when I wake up in the morning, I used to pick my phone up straight away and start watching these things. And, I'll be watching educational self-help stuff, so it kind of gives you an excuse to not be getting up and not going for the walk and doing whatever else you need to do. Well, now I sort of make a point of watching or listening to these self-help videos and podcasts and stuff whilst I'm walking around the block. So they both reinforce each other. So I now want to get up. I mean, it's still hard. I can still persuade myself not to get up and go for a walk, but now it's like, right, I want to go around the block for a walk because I want to get my input of educational content whilst I'm walking. And then I don't have to waste time when I'm at home, when I should be exercising, I should be editing my videos or whatever, because I've got my dose of that. So the walk makes the listening to the educational stuff more worthwhile, and vice versa. Another thing, like moving forward, with editing my YouTube videos on my other channel, I'm probably going to get to the point where I'm going to have to outsource the editing side of things. So then that would be a way of still getting the same amount of work done, so I'm still progressing my channel, and then it will free me up to do other stuff, so I can add things to my routine, try new things or whatever, without sacrificing my work or any of the things that I need to do in my daily routine. So it's another example where working harder or doing more isn't necessarily the way to progress. It's all about consistency, keeping doing things every day, and also arranging your life so that you can do more things in a shorter space of time. So then you're still on an upward trajectory with whatever you need to do. So yeah, through years of basically failing, with my life going round in a spiral or up and down like this, whichever way you want to look at it, I've learned what I knew years ago. I didn't put enough effort into it. Yeah, I knew and I know that consistency and momentum is key. People that know me or people that don't know me, who've seen what I'm doing over the last few years, whether it be with YouTube or whatever else, they'd see me grinding and they'd probably think, wow, he's really like making moves and doing stuff. But they're only seeing me at the time where I'm actually grinding. They're not sort of taking a step back of my life and seeing that, really, I haven't got anywhere. Really and truly, if I carried on the way I was going, really and truly, I was going down. If I kept doing the things I was doing, I would have lost everything. I've got close, I would have lost my girlfriend, and I would have been in a state. But to people that see me sort of on the up points, it probably look like I'm, going to the moon. But, that's sort of compared to people that aren't actively, searching to better themselves. So don't judge a book by its cover. Even if you see someone that looks like they're proper on it all the time, maybe they're not. Maybe they're just on it for periods of time and then falling off again, and going like this. Whereas you could be consistent. You might not look like you're grinding as hard and you might not look like you're making as many moves, but over time, believe me, if you're consistent, keep progressing, keep bettering yourself in any way, whether it be business, whether it be health, whether it be learning to attract the opposite sex, whatever you're into in terms of self-improvement, or simply staying off drinking drugs like me. You might see people out having a laugh doing this, they're, being ballers or whatever, and, but you're consistently just improving your life in other areas or whatever. It might not look like you're making any progress or making moves, but when you sort of zoom out and look at the timeline of life, believe me, consistency wins over sporadic periods of aggressive effort, followed by periods where you basically fall on your face. So watch out for when your mind is telling you that it's time to have a break. It's time to take your foot off the gas. You've worked hard, you deserve a break. Don't allow your mind to tell you that. Like, if your mind's telling you to do anything other than crack on and progress in your life and achieve whatever you want to achieve, then, just accept that that's just a thought. Your thoughts are sometimes just created by a mind that is hindered by the limitations of your experience, of your past. As I mentioned in a previous video, sometimes you need to separate yourself from what's going on in your mind. Live in the present moment, assess things in real time. Because if your mind is persuading you to do anything other than be consistent with whatever you're trying to do, it's lying to you. And you're just going to end up like 99.9% of the people in the world that are basically getting nowhere, even if it looks like they are making moves when you look at them from a distance. Because the fact is, my mind every day tells me that I shouldn't be getting out of bed early. Every day it tells me that I shouldn't be going for a walk around the block, that I shouldn't be meditating, that I shouldn't be exercising. I might have achy muscles, now's the time to have a day off. Where I'm like, no, I'm only doing 3 exercises a day, 2 sets, I can handle it, and I do it. The meditating, oh, you ain't got time. My mind telling me you ain't got time, this is stupid. You're going to quit anyway, just like you have in the past. Like, no, I've decided to focus on consistency and momentum and keep doing a little bit of everything I know I need to do every day to keep myself on track, rather than trying to do everything as well as I can and then end up falling off the wagon. I have wasted years and years and years of my life. I could be way further, than I am now in all aspects of my life. I'm very fortunate that, from my idiocy, I haven't lost everything. I hope that this video will spark something in the minds of people that are watching it, and I hope you don't make the same mistake I did by focusing on effort rather than focusing on consistency. Now, I mentioned that I'm sort of half-arsing everything and only doing minimal amounts of everything I need to, but making sure I do it every day. But I do want to get to the stage eventually where I am meditating 20 minutes every day. But every day, I want to get to a stage where I am doing more sets of more exercises every day at home. But every day, I want to get to the stage where I am having a longer cold shower. But I want to get to the point where I'm doing it every day. I want to set the habit in stone first, and get beyond 1 month, which is, as far as I've been getting, for the last few years in terms of staying off drugs and staying on the path. I want to get, a couple of months under my belt first, and then I can turn the trajectory from this into this. I'm not going to turn it into this at the risk that it's then going to go down. I'd rather keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not going to say keep doing it until it gets easy, but keep doing it until the habit is formed and then move on, because I don't want to waste loads more years. I want to keep on an upward trajectory and keep progressing, keep moving forward and keep on track. So I hope I've somewhat managed to get across what I'm trying to say. Some of these subjects, they are sort of hard to put into words. I just sort of have a thought in my mind and think, if I focus on that, it's going to benefit me. Maybe I should make a video about it and it might benefit other people. And then obviously, because I'm keeping it in my mind, then there's more chance that I'm going to stick to it myself. So, making these videos is definitely going to help me as much as I hope it's helping some of you. But yeah, as always, let me know what you think in the comments about, momentum and consistency. Have you guys had any experience where, you've sort of backed off a little bit with, the effort you're putting into a certain thing and you found that in the long run, it's better off? And feel free to put in the comments any things that you guys have added to your daily routine, as an everyday thing to keep yourself progressing in whatever it is you're trying to achieve. I think in the next video, I am going to describe my daily routine, because there's a lot of things that I'm doing every day, and as I've mentioned in this video, I am doing them every day, and those things are key to me staying on track. So maybe there'll be a couple of things out of those things that I'm doing that you could incorporate into your life, or maybe there'll be some people out there that could give me advice on what I'm doing so that I could tweak what I'm doing. But I think that's enough for this video. Massive thanks to everyone who's made it this far. I hope you've gained something from watching this video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.